Ann Robertson, Paul Picus, Terry Close, Scott Samuels, here, Stuart Wolf, Dan Coco, and Michael Schenkel is on his way. He's parking his car. When he gets here, we'll make him part of the quorum. Yes. The meeting is closed. So order at 7:40. On to my watch. Okay, there's no need to waiver of notice as this is an emergency meeting. The meeting goes on, the agenda was set.
Would you please speak into the mic?
Certainly. Okay, the next item on the agenda is the reorganization of officers. I will turn
By
to...
the way, you have an agenda item here, excuse me, Howard, it says waiver of notice.
I just said it should not be on this agenda as this is an emergency meeting.
It's not even on the agenda?
It should not be here. There's no notice to be waived.
It is on the agenda.
We can go with the waiver here, no problem. It's on the
Take it off the
agenda.
agenda.
Okay.
Any arguments tonight?
Waiver of notice.
I move.
Before you start, Michael is present, and I'll include him in the quorum.
Just make a motion to remove it.
I am prepared to do that, thank you, sir. I move to waive notice of the meeting as provided by association bylaws. Is there a second?
I second it.
In the absence of Ann, if you don't mind, I'll call for the vote. Linda DeKoff?
Vote
Yes.
yes.
Francis Mesro, yes. Ann Rosenson? Waiving? Ann? Yes. Paul Piper? Michael Schenkel? Sherry Claude?
Yes.
Thank you. Scott Samuels?
Yes.
Stuart Wolf? Dan Coco? Unanimous. Second item on the agenda. Howard?
The next item on the agenda is the reorganization of officers.
I make a motion calling for a vote for the removal of Dan Coco from the office of President of the Association. May I have a second?
I second the motion.
Do we have a discussion here? Are we entitled to the discussion here?
Yeah, you may have a discussion, but there's no participation by the audience because this is an emergency meeting. But you may make comments if you'd like, Mr. Samuels.
Who's running this meeting here? You?
Howard and...
Wait a second, who's presiding here? I don't understand.
In the absence of Ann, I was asked to do a little secretarial work. Right?
Ed doesn't preside. The president presides at the meeting. I don't know why you took over the meeting. You have to go according to the protocol.
I'd like to say a few words before, if it's okay with
You're
everybody.
in charge.
Is it okay with everybody if I say a few words?
But there's a
That's
motion on
fine.
the floor that's been seconded.
Go ahead.
If you're addressing the motion, that's fine.
It involves all of us,
I want to
yeah.
say a few words, you're asking for my removal. So I wanted to say a few words if you let me, but if you don't want me to.
Say whatever you want.
Okay. Okay.
That's all right.
All right, I'll say a few words here. Since becoming president, I found that I had little time to myself. Before becoming president, I used to sit down, read a book, watch a movie, have dinner, but since becoming president, I had very, very little time to myself. The position means serving the residents and being available to the residents. Everybody here, or everybody in the village, has my home number, they have my cell number, and they have my email address. I get a minimum of 10 calls a day, and that's weekends, and emails as well. All right, when people can't get satisfaction in the office, they come in there, nobody will see them. They call me, okay? Of course, now, if I'm not president anymore, I'll be redirecting those calls to the new president. They come into the office, everybody's in a meeting, always, nobody will see them. They ask for me. They usually come in there with billing problems. Sound like a shock, doesn't it? Building problems? I try to solve them for them. Had one in there today. I bring them in to see Crystal and ask her if we can solve this building problem, tell them where they stand. Then I get these dirty looks letting me know that how are they ever going to get their work done if they have to do this? And I say this is part of their work. This is part of their job, is solving problems like this. What isn't their job is text messaging and being on their cell phone for 2 hours a day, making private calls. That's not part of their job. Some people, they have special problems that nobody wants to address. All right, there was a special problem with cleaning out an apartment recently. There was just an accumulation, and nobody had to get it cleaned out. Nobody wanted to address the problem. I had to talk to the individual, and we had a nice talk, and he realizes he has issues, and he was reasonable, and he allowed George's men to come in and help him clean out the apartment. We kind of recommended some help for him. That's part of being president. Some say that an individual like that belongs in a facility, and I don't agree with that. Everyone that's not as normal as we are does not necessarily belong in a facility. I've had lots of calls over the last week about another young man that hangs out in front of the clubhouse a lot. Maybe some of you know him. All right, he spends a lot of time there in the cafe. Had a lot of calls and complaints about him. Let's get him out of here. He doesn't belong in IV. Well, have you ever talked to this young man? He's a very intelligent young man. He has issues. We all have issues. But we should try to help him, not kick him out of the village. In the Alan Landers case, I was having dinner with friends when I got the call that the police wanted to get to Alan Landers' apartment. I left the dinner party that I was at, came back to the village, got a key so the police wouldn't have to break down the door.
Excuse me, Dan, please don't call people's names.
What?
That's,
Whose names?
make sure you don't need to speak.
Want the Landers case?
You're identifying.
Well, that's
employers and bringing
public
up their-
knowledge.
Right.
Hmm?
I don't know it. I'm now knowing it from you. So
What,
therefore,
Alan
it's
Landers?
not
You didn't know
public.
about Alan Landers?
There's some case that you're bringing up about police and getting into that. Suspect.
I thought everybody knew that, okay.
Please.
Well, you're not here most of the time, so I can understand it. All right. These things really don't annoy me. In fact, that I would have to leave a dinner party to come here because I feel that that's part of the job of being president. What does annoy me is people that don't do their job. People that are paid a decent salary to get things done and be there for the residents. And yet they show no real interest in the community because they just don't live here and they just don't care. That not only annoys me, but it frustrates me. And it frustrates me to the point of taking some drastic action, which I did. It might have been a mistake, but I did it anyway. So anybody that wants to be president, don't plan to have much of a personal life. If you have other obligations, if you have a job, and you're going to be invisible, you won't be a good president. Being president is doing more than just coming in once a week and signing checks. Thank you.
We're call for the vote on the.
You've got a roll call.
Yes.
Okay, I'll take a roll call on the motion. There's a motion calling for the vote for the removal of Dan Coker from the office of President of the Association. Linda DeKoff,
Yes.
Francis Mesro,
Yes.
Ann Rosenson. Yes. Paul Pikus. Michael Schenkel.
Yes.
Terry Clough. Scott Samuels.
No.
Stuart Wolf.
Yeah,
We have a can't vote for himself.
We have got to vote like everybody
Sir,
else.
he is the option.
Yeah, he can vote.
Sir,
He must
we
vote.
have a majority of the remaining board members voting on this motion. We have a majority in favor of removing Dan Coco as the president of International Village. Motion passes.
All down for the vote.
No, it's on the agenda. You just need to
Yes.
put it on.
Okay. There's the next item, well, I guess part of the same agenda item would be the reorganization of officers. Since we've got a vacant presidential position, I'll move for nominations for that position.
I'd like to nominate Francis Mesro as president.
Are there any other nominations?
Renominate him.
Are there any others? No? Yes. There are two nominations. Nominations are closed if there aren't any others.
But before we vote, I would like to have the ability to question the candidates. Anyone could question the candidates.
Yeah.
Yes, certainly. These are not candidates. These are already board of directors.
They're nominees for the highest office we have in the village. They control $3 million. They can be questioned.
Nobody has access to that
Absolutely.
$3 million.
Come on, let it be democratic.
We are democratic.
Yes.
No, you're not.
Yeah.
Your way.
I think we just move on.
No, you don't move
There's no
on.
qualification.
You don't move on. We're not going to move on without questioning.
We have two nominations on the floor. We'll take a vote on the first and the second.
Just a second. No, you won't. We have to have closed ballots.
We do not.
Yes, you do.
Where does it state that?
Huh?
Where's it stated?
It says it in,
Where?
it says it in the law. It
Okay.
says it in state law.
And if that is the case,
We've
then,
done it.
sir,
We've done it
please,
for 30
please,
years.
you can question it in the state law after this meeting.
No, you
None of us
not
are
absolutely
attorneys.
not.
None of us are attorneys at this table.
Oh, wait.
Therefore, I cannot determine law. You're not an attorney.
Well, we've done this for 30 years this way.
It doesn't
We
matter.
got a precedent. That's what's so ridiculous.
Excuse me, it can be secret, it doesn't have to be
No.
secret, but it's not that.
Show me where it doesn't have to be.
I don't have a law.
You must have me try. Wait. You know what, we've been doing this for 30 years with closed ballots. All of a sudden you're changing the rules.
Ann Rosenson cannot be here in press, so therefore
She
she's
should
not
be
here.
here.
No,
She can't.
She's allowed to partake.
That's the reason. That's the reason she's not here. She's not
You
here.
cannot override the rules. All the attorneys have to attorney here.
Secret ballot is
You don't want to let us question. We want you to
It's an option. Gentlemen. Because there's no need for argument here.
Hey! Let's pay attention.
Legal, you have the option after tonight to contact the state.
Be
The
careful.
ombudsman.
No, after tonight it's too late. It can take a year till we get that
No, they
done.
normally respond quickly. You've been there many a times, you know.
What, it doesn't take 2 minutes?
I make a motion that we table this matter until this is over.
Or contact an attorney.
Suggestion?
There's a motion on the
Is Ann home? Is Ann home? I didn't ask you that. I know she's on the phone. Is she home?
Yes.
If she's home, I'll be happy to drive over there and get her closed ballot if that makes these gentlemen happy. I mean, it's obviously why they want to vote, but she can have a closed ballot too. She's home. She's on the board. Okay? I'll be happy to go over there and bring the closed ballot if that makes them happy in their seeking of democracy.
Right.
No problem.
Democracy is right in the public speech.
Well, and you can, and Mr. Samuels can prepare the ballot with his signature so that we know that that's the piece of paper that comes back.
If this will mean that we'll get off this meeting tonight, I'll ask for two volunteers from the
I'll go,
audience.
Sherry.
I'll also ask Steve Mason from KW.
I'll go.
I'll go with Mr. Samuels. I'd love to go with Mr. Samuels. He's the right one to go. He's protesting. I'll take him over there by my own hand.
There's only one of you to come back.
I'll take Mr. Samuels with me.
Okay, we'll adjourn until the secret ballot comes back.
Awesome.
Okay? Shall we go, Mr. Samuels? Let's go.
Adjourn.
Should I go?
You trust me? Okay, that's great. I'm glad to hear that.
And Stephen,
Turn off the video tape.
That's okay. I don't want to miss anything. There may be a brawl.
Leave it on. I'll take care of it.
You don't have any.
let me get it on.
Let's do it, Bobby. They know the problem. Hey, Jerry.
This is a ballot. With Dan's name with a blank and Francis's name with a blank. I'm waiting for an envelope. I'm not wasting time.
Jerry, do you know the apartment?
Street T is on the board.
He was